everybody. Welcome here I go again. Welcome to Unit 1, Week 2. This is not going so well and smooth at first, but let me see if I can improve matters. We are getting ready to begin our second week of coursework, and we have welcomed 3 new students to our class. That's Kennedy, Jake, and Luke. We're so glad to have you join us. Please reach out with any questions in the general channel and twist so that our class can help you all to get settled in. You're not so far behind where everybody else is, but they've just had a little bit more time to get used to the technology and how everything works. So I am thrilled to report that I'm back in New Orleans. It's so good to be home. It was a long time away, but we've got power, and so we came back, and I'm currently in my private practice office. So I spend my days working at Metairie Park Country Day School, the school where I work, and then I spend some time on the weekends and a little bit of time during the week in the evenings at my private practice. I'll show you. I regret moving this one, but this is my office. I love my little window, and here's my desk, and I have this artwork that a friend did for me. She took these canvases and poured paint on them and then just like used a hair dryer to move it around. And then I have this other painting that I love that was done by a local artist. But in this office, I conduct therapy with teenagers and college students mostly, and do cognitive behavioral therapy. So the idea here is that we look at changing the way people think to change the way that they feel and behave. And I incorporate all sorts of positive psychology techniques into my work because as we're going to begin to explore more and more, research shows it's really effective. It helps when it comes to our health and well-being. All right, so this week I've published a new Hangout. Just to remind you, each week I publish a new Hangout in the module that we're on. The purpose of this is to build community, to really get to know one another. So what I ask you to do is contribute to it at the beginning of the week, but then also when you've got 30 seconds free, a couple of minutes free during the week, go back and respond to as many of your classmates as possible. This is how we build a sense of knowing among each other, and we know that that sense of connection, human connection, brings value to everything that we do, and so that is the purpose of that. Just a nuts and bolts thing, I do recommend, I think Sundays are a good day to do this, to click on the grade where it says grades. That's a left-hand portion when you're on the home page in Canvas, and just make sure you've gotten, that all the work that you need to do has been submitted. And maybe I haven't had a chance to grade everything, but you'll be able to see what's been graded and what's not. Sometimes this is a good way to catch if you forgot to go back and give responses in the discussion to classmates, because I don't grade work until all of that's there. The discussion piece, the responding to classmates, is such a valuable part of the learning process, because what you're doing is you're taking somebody else's thoughts, you're turning them over in your mind, you're bumping them up against your thoughts, and then what you come up with out of that is a deeper sense of learning and understanding. And so that's an important part of this class. And just another piece around the grades thing, I am able to give extensions. I'm happy to give extensions, but I do ask that you ask for those before the due date. I don't want to give too many of them, because if you go back and you're doing the work after everybody's already done and they've walked away from the discussion, then you're just on an island doing the class by yourself, and that is not the idea. So deadlines are important to me. I'm going to ask you to stick with them, and then life happens, and so we can use extensions when that is the case. Another thing is, when you post an image or a video, it should show directly onto Canvas. So we shouldn't have to click anything. It should be easily accessed, and we're all still learning how to do that. But you'll notice in my feedback to you on grades that if you haven't posted something that allows for that, it's important to go ahead and learn now, because it's something we're going to be doing all semester long. Group work, a lot of you are probably wrapping that up this weekend if you haven't already done it. I know the time zones are a challenge, but this group work is worth it, because you get to meet people from all over the world. Let me know if you are struggling to find a time that works for everybody in your group. For those of us in the United States, we want to be very considerate and conscientious about the time zones of people outside of the United States. One time I had a student who set her alarm and got up at 2 a.m. to conduct a group Zoom. I do not want students doing that. Sleep is such a valuable aspect of creating a sense of well-being, and we should not sacrifice it. So let me know if that's a problem. Starting next week, I am going to start what GOA calls support communication. These are tickets that get sent to you, your site director, and your parents if you've fallen behind on coursework. Please don't experience these as punitive or me lecturing you or me upset with you. That's not how this course works. That's not how I treat students. It's really just so that we all can be in the know that there's stuff that you need to catch up on and that we can work together to support you in doing that. One of the assignments that you're going to jump into next week is you're going to have the opportunity to think about what is it like to be a positive psychology researcher. So the first thing you're going to do is identify some aspect of positive psychology that we've encountered so far that you know that you would like to know more about. It's great to go back to that Excel sheet of terms that we've come up with and glance through those and think like, well, what would I like to explore more? Find some resources that have to do with that topic, and then from those resources you are going to build a 10-question survey that you're going to give to a bunch of family and friends, and then you're going to interpret the results. The interpretation of the results, this is where I want you to think deeply and meaningfully about what you found out. What does this tell us about humans? Why does this matter? How does this inform us on living the good life? This is where you may need to do some brainstorming before you sit down to interpret the results, because you got to think about what this means. Like, why does this data, why is it valuable? Brene Brown is a qualitative researcher, meaning that she works with people's narratives and she figures out a whole lot about the human condition based on those narratives. So she calls her research data with a soul, right? Like, we want you to find deeper meaning in your data results. I am here to help you with that if you need it. Okay, just a real quick item as we're getting into this week's work. When you're going to be doing more and more, going back, contributing to discussions with classmates. And one simple thing that I think is always so valuable is to make sure that you are using each other's names. So to be able to say like Kara, comma, blah, 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 blah. Or, just the idea that in identifying each other by our names, we are being more present for one another, we are acknowledging each other. These things help to build a strong online learning community. So thank you for your help with that. And with that, I'm going to wrap up this video. This one was a little longer than they'll normally be. I don't want to wear you out on these Sundays. I don't want you to dread my Sunday videos, but there was a lot of stuff I just needed to pack in today. Next week, I promise I'll try to cut it in half. But after you watch this, go to Twist and just tell me something that surprised you this week, something that really stood out as a surprise. And I'll tell you mine. My brother, who I'm very close with, has gone through some, starting in July, some very critical times with his health. It's been very scary for us. There were times throughout this process that we really thought that we would lose him. He spent a lot of time in an ICU and multiple surgeries. And today he graduated from cardiac rehab. So here he is, right around my age, attending cardiac rehab with a group of 80-year-olds. And he talked about how it was bittersweet to graduate because these are his friends now. He grew so close with these guys, but it's also very special to know that he's going on with his recovery process. So that's kind of a big one. Maybe your surprise was that you came home and there was like mint chocolate chip ice cream in the freezer. That's good too, but that was the surprise that stuck out for me. All right, have a great week. Do good things, find meaning and beauty in the small stuff, and I'll see you soon.